Now, through the magic of technology, Coach John Saluations joins us with his pregame salutations. Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Well, Bubba, I'm glad to be there, but before we start, I want to offer my condolences to Scott Mitchell and his family. You know, Doug Mitchell, his dad, was commissioner when I first came to Hamilton, and it was Doug who presented that Grey Cup trophy to our Hamilton Tiger-Cats in 1986. Always a personable guy, always approachable. Sad day to see Doug Mitchell's passing.
Canadian Football Hall of Famer in 2021, just recently, games ago against the Calgary Stampeders. We saw him walk by us, gave us a friendly wave and hello. I mean, always respectful. Canadian Sports Hall of Famer, Alberta Sports Hall of Famer, and a guy that. And he also gave back to U Sports, which I always thought was really important. Has a award of the year named in his honor.
He does. The semifinal of the national championship is named the Mitchell Bowl after him. And like Coach Sal said, he's an approachable guy. And it's not just the big names. You go to a game and you see him talking to everybody. He remembers you. He remembers. He remembered every single He'd have so many different conversations. I'm just thinking, this guy is so connected and so loved and just gave his everything to football in so many different ways. His resume is incredible, and it's a huge loss for football, for the Mitchell family, for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, and very sad day in the world of sports.
There's no doubt, in our best to Scott, who we're so see on a daily basis here at the stadium, and there's Tiger-Cat fans that also are wishing that family their very best. Coach, let's talk a little bit about tonight's game that's going to happen just under an hour. There's no doubt about it, and Andy just talked about it in terms of the scheduling of this game, coming off 2 practices. How, as a coach, would the Tiger-Cats be prepared for this matchup against a high-powered offense?
Well, you and Andy were just talking, Bubba, about the difficulty of not only, the starting time, but the second half of the ball game is 12 o'clock, 12:30 Eastern time. In my opinion, most players will wear down a little bit in that second half, but you cannot make that as an excuse. The Hamilton has to go out there and they have to play a clean game. No turnovers, no sacks. They've got to have high percentage second down conversions. So you just got to dig deep and make sure your body can take it. And if it were me, I'd go with the game plan that Winnipeg had against the Lions. They held the running back, Butler, 8 carries for 33 yards. And they kept that quarterback, Rourke, in the pocket. In the first 3 games, Rourke rushed 15 times for 180 yards. Versus Winnipeg, they had 1 carry for -4. So, I really think that if the Ticats do anything tonight, those are the same kinds of stats they have to have coming out of this ballgame.
Coach, I mentioned hoping to keep things simple and focus on your strengths. How many changes would you make as a coach to the scheme in a 2-practice week, in a short 5-day week like this?
Well, I don't think you have to. Andy, there's a big enough playbook that you can use whatever you want in a particular game. But I would think that what they would want to do is defensively, like I said, they need to contain Rourke, not allow him to get out of the pocket, be able to cover down on the deep routes. The Lions are missing a couple of pieces in the receiving core. If they can just stay simple on the defensive side, but at the same time put enough pressure on Rourke and not allow him to get outside and extend plays, they'll be okay defensively. Offensively, I wouldn't change what the Ticats did basically against the Red Blacks. They can come out in that ball game and do pretty much the same things they always do. And you said it earlier, play to your own strengths. Don't worry about the other team. Worry about your own strengths and play to them.
They might be missing a few pieces, but still, make no mistake, a lot of weapons on that BC Lions offensive attack. On the other side, though, the offensive line for the Hamilton Ticats is the same lineup for 2 games in a row, which I believe is the first time this season. How much of a benefit will that be for them?
It'll be a great benefit. And if you noticed in that game against the Red Blacks, in the first half especially, they used a lot of what we used to call tackle over. They would move Kelly from the left side of the offensive line to the right side outside of Van Zyl, and they were using Gibbons as a tight end on the other side. So they had a big formation which helped protect Evans and give him a little more time to throw. Yes, you might lose one receiver in that situation, but at the same time, if you protect the quarterback, he has an opportunity to get the ball downfield.
Coach, we saw a glimpse of what Don Jackson can bring to the table at the tail end of last year, and he was a game-time decision, but we do see him warming up. He is cleared to play. He got some action last game after missing a few games with injury. How much of a factor does he need to be for the Ticats to make a run into the middle part of the season here?
Well, I don't remember the exact stats from the last game, but he had a number of carries and a number of receptions that totaled 70 yards. So that's a 70-yard production out of your running back is good production in any ball game. You'd like to see him get 100 yards in a game, but at the same time, he showed the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. That's something that Thomas Earlington also has the ability to do. So between the two of those guys, they need to put up at least 70 to 100 yards of offense between them.
There's no doubt. I mean, the Hamilton rushing game is led by Dane Evans and Matt Schultz with 135 yards. That certainly got to change. Hey, looking at that defensive line, and I know you talked a little bit about it, a foot injury to defensive lineman Mo Diablo has kind of opened the door for second-round draft pick Anthony Federico and Chris Malumba. I'm looking at the lineup. I'm seeing 9 defensive linemen. I guess there's going to be a heavy rotation there tonight?
Well, I would think so because Rourke is a drop-back quarterback. He's a guy that's thrown for, 1,300 yards in 4 ball games. So you know he's going to put the ball in the air, so you've got to have a pass rush. I think tonight you've got to look at Hauser. Hauser in the last ball game showed that he can get to the quarterback. Put him up against the offensive line and let him rush. Turn him loose and let him go for the quarterback and be able to contain him at the same time. I think the rotation has to be there in order to keep those legs fresh going into the late part of this ballgame.
With his pregame salutations, he is John Salavandis. Coach Sal, thanks for checking in.
You're more than welcome, Bubba.